Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of It's About Time. It's been a week since our blitzkrieg of episodes that Jared and I did earlier in this month, so I thought we'd do one more episode. Maybe we'll do one more before I go away on vacation for a little bit to Bermuda, and I hope to do one there as well if I can. But let's get back to what we're going to be talking about tonight. Tonight we're going to go into basically what's on my wrist, because that's what I am going to feature. So tonight's episode is going to be featuring the RADO Integral. Now, some of you may have seen this watch before. I have brought it out on previous episodes. Okay, this is the stainless steel ceramic version of the RADO Integral. And this will be our feature watch tonight, so we can do a watch review on it. So let's get right into it. Basically, if you know anything about RADO, I have gone into other watch reviews on different RADOs I have had in the past and still have currently today, and this is another watch model of that brand. RADO was actually started in 1917. As you know, it is a Swiss-made brand, and their claim to fame is back in 1990 they started making ceramic watches. Now, for those of you who really aren't familiar with ceramic, what is so wonderful about ceramic? Well, the number one problem that people complain about outside of watches breaking is the fact that a lot of people don't like to get their watches scratched. And all the other materials that watches are made of, we're talking about either bands or watch cases, which is gold, stainless steel, titanium, rubber, even plastic. All of that is very scratchable. It's not scratch resistant at all. So when you're talking about these types of materials, they get all scratched up, and if you buy it new, then 3-4 months later, it looks like it's been through a war. And you have one of two options. Well, number one, you can try to go get another watch, or number two, you can go to a watchmaker or a jewelry place and have them refurbish it if it can be. If the scratches can't be taken out, because if you have gold plating, it can't be, or IP plating, the scratches can't be taken out. You'll take the plating right off as the machine tries to get the scratches out. Other materials like stainless steel and even plastic and rubber, you can get the scratches out to get them to look like back to what was in new condition. The problem with that being it's going to keep costing you money every time you want to do it. So back in 1990, RADO said, you know what, we have to think outside the box. We have to use a different material that's really going to revolutionize the industry. And they are definitely the leaders in this, and they have been ever since. When it comes to ceramic, because ceramic is that, when you think of ceramic, you may think of your mom's type of ceramic, where they go and they glaze it in these kilns and it's not that type of ceramic. This is a different type of ceramic we're talking about. And the type that we are talking about is a material, I'll show it to you again, okay, that is usually black in color, though it can come in various colors when RADO wants to get creative. But it is a material that basically does not scratch at all. You can't dent it, you can't scratch it, you can't nick it, you can't do anything. Anything you do, it wipes right off. That's the beauty of ceramic. And I've had other watches that, like I said, on previous watch reviews where we did the RADO Skeleton, that was also a ceramic and stainless steel watch, but that was a gold-plated watch. So you really weren't getting the full effect that this one's going to give you, which is stainless steel and ceramic. And I also have another one that is full ceramic, which is the golf watch, the one I use for golf that I brought out in a couple episodes as well. So, getting back to this one, okay, they came out with a few different lines, and they came out with the Ceramica, and then they came out with the Integral. And the greatest thing about the Integral is the fact for people who don't want watches with a round face, okay, because A lot of their other lines, like the Capule and some other, like the Centrix and the Capule, they still have those traditional round faces. Whereas, hey, when you want to go with something different, you want to go with a tank watch. What's the reason that people like the Cartier tank so well? Because it's a square. It's a different look on the wrist. When I put this on my wrist, it gives it a whole different feel and a whole different look. And the greatest thing about Ceramicas is the fact that it looks like a bracelet. So it's like you're wearing a men's bracelet anyway, and it really has a really nice look to it. It's very sleek, and it's very, very comfortable. The greatest thing about ceramic, outside of the fact that it is scratch resistant, is the fact that it is light, and again, the hair on your arm will not catch on ceramic. It just doesn't. RADO makes some of the most comfortable watches that you can buy. When you talk about price points for this type of watch, you're looking anywhere, this one new is anywhere between, I'd say you can find it for $1,000 to $1,300 new. This is the automatic version, the one that I'm talking about. Specifically, I'll give you the model number, which is the RADO R208-53152. So this is the model number we are specifically talking about tonight. So again, you do have very comfortable links, it's very light, and it is scratch resistant. So another good point is the fact it doesn't have large links. If you look at the links of the RADO watch, okay, they're not large, so that makes it easier for people to adjust it, okay? When it's a positive and negative with the links. Because they're not large, it makes it more comfortable on the wrist. If you had to add one or subtract one, you're really not going to lose too much there. The bad part is it is a little tricky on how to remove the watch with the RADO links. You really have to. It's not like a traditional watch where you pound right through it. They do have arrows. These arrows are pointing down as I'm looking at them over here. You can see. And we'll show you on the inside of the watch. You can see the arrows over there. But you only have to tap it a couple of different times and the link will separate. And then you have to reorganize the pin back into the link to either add or subtract. It's a little different way of doing it. RADO likes doing things their own way. You do have other companies that do try to copy RADO. The most notable one is Oniss. That's O-N-I-S-S. A much cheaper version of what RADO does. Their watches go anywhere between $75 and $275, usually brand new. They do dabble with ceramic, so most of their watches are ceramic. In my opinion, not as good as quality, number one. And number two, they're not automatic. They're all quartz. So while RADO does do both quartz and automatic, they specialize in the automatics, and there's nothing quite like them. And if you'll notice, the other unique thing about, especially the Integral line, is the fact that the sapphire crystal, you see, it's not your typical crystal, okay? It's a domed, curved crystal. Again, good and bad. It is pretty, since it's a sapphire crystal, it goes along with the rest of the watch, it is scratch resistant. However, you can crack it, okay? If you drop this sucker on the ground, like sapphire crystals do not scratch, but they crack. And you will often find this with RADOs. If this falls on the pavement, it will chip, because this is sapphire crystal. This is not made of ceramic. People think it looks like ceramic because it matches the rest of the watch. It really is not. It's just a sapphire crystal. You can crack it. And the bad thing is, if you crack it on any part of the ceramic, any part of the sapphire crystal, I mean, you're going to have to bring it to the watchmaker, and they're the only ones. They're going to have to send it back to RADO, and RADO's going to have to put the new crystal on it because nobody else has it. So they own the patented design to this crystal, this trademark to it. So they really have the market in that. So please, whatever you do, try not to drop it on the pavement, because that will cost you at least a couple $100 for that crystal. It's a lot more expensive than your normal sapphire crystal, which would cost about 50 bucks. Okay, so basically that's one downside of it. The other downside of it is most RADO integrals in this line are not very water resistant. They'll tell you 3 ATM. It's a 50-50 whether that can go through the shower or not. Usually it can. I've had things from RADO before go 3 ATM, and usually I've had no problems with it. It's not something I take a chance on, though. I would prefer it to be always, as Jared and I have set standards on this, 5 ATM or 10 ATM. So please be careful of that as well. I would not take it in deep waters to swim with RADO, because most aren't, especially the Integral line. The Centrix line is better, it's 5 ATM, and you do have, of course, the RADO dive watches, but most of them aren't ceramic. Those more go into your stainless steel. But for the ones that are, as long as it's a diver's watch, of course you're okay. But we're talking about the Integral line tonight, so be very careful with your water resistancy, especially with the RADO Integral, because as you can tell from the stem, it does not have a lockdown crown. Okay, so you can see there it just does not. Okay, it is not a screw down crown, it's not a lockdown crown, so it's just your regular type of crown, and water is able to get in either through the back or the crown if there is enough pressure put on it. So let's talk about accuracy just for a second. This one I have now had for about a year, and I gotta tell you, I'm a stickler on accuracy. It's very easy to regulate it. There are 4 screws on the back. You take the screws out. Okay, you can see the screws on the back. There you go. Okay, all you do is you basically just take those screws out with a screwdriver. The back pops off, and then there is, of course, that you take a screwdriver and you turn the screw either left or right if you want it faster or slower, based on how fast or slow it's running. You pop the 4 screws back in, and you test it out, give it a day. And it took me a couple times. I got this sucker to within a second a day, and it's been that way. The automatic movement on this sucker is wonderful. So I gotta say that it's one of my most reliable watches, because number one, it is so durable because of the ceramic, and number two, it is extremely accurate. So I am actually very impressed with its accuracy. So outside of that, another bad point, and I will get to this right now. You ready for this? Here we go. You can see by this blackness that there is no loom. The only light you're seeing right now is from my laptop. So, sorry guys, this RADO ceramic line, even though it looks like there would be loom, because if you look at the face, you would think that it has loom based on the hour marker and the minute marker and the hours, but it doesn't. There's no loom on this sucker. That's one thing they missed. They should have went with a luminescent watch, because people do like their watches glowing in the dark. My previous episode about the Quorum Admiral's Cup, total different story. Take a look at that one. You'll see how well that one glows in the dark compared to this one. So this is more of a casual two-dress watch. You can wear it either way. That's the great part about it. It has that sleek look to it. It's got a nice business presence as well. So that's the other downside about this watch that you would have as well. It is a quick set date, so there's no problem with setting the date, obviously. And basically it's an all-around nice piece, nice watch. RADO makes a very solid piece, that's solid watches from a very solid company. So there is your quick little review. If you want the measurements of this watch, it actually is 27 millimeters wide, which is going this way obviously, and 34 millimeters long. Okay, so again, if you're looking at the wrist size and you're thinking 27 millimeters, that's very, very small. It's really not. When you're dealing with a tank watch, it's totally different than with a regular watch. If it was a round watch, if it had a round face, yes, that would be extremely small. That would be a women's size, which is 28 millimeters as your standard women's size back in the day. But when it comes to a tank watch, that's actually mid-size. They actually go up to 32 millimeters. They have an XL version of this watch, which I've had as well. And that goes to 32 millimeters wide. and I think it's about 35 millimeters long. So they do come in a couple different sizes, and basically that's what this watch offers, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this watch review. So now to the second part of this little episode that I'm doing. I'm going to issue a watch challenge to my partner in crime, who unfortunately tonight is at home sick. So Jared, here's my little watch challenge I do want to issue to you. Here's how this works. I'm going to, for 1 week, give you one of my watches from my collection, and you are to wear the watch for the week non-stop. And then at the end of that week, give a watch review on it. Okay? He, in turn, can either have me wear one of his, or have me buy one as long as it's within an acceptable price range for 1 week, and I will do the same thing to review the watch as I am doing right now. So we'll see if Jared is either going to accept or deny this challenge. Again, I'm not going to tell him what watch it is. That's the fun part about this. I have over 30. I'm going to pick one, and it is going to be a total surprise. It could be automatic, it could be quartz. He doesn't know the brand, he doesn't know anything. He would have to wear it nonstop for 1 week and do a full watch review at the end of that week. So, counting down to our 100th episode, we're going to see, again, if Jared accepts that. He's definitely going to let you know probably on the next episode. And guys, keep liking our stuff, keep sending us suggestions, keep commenting, as long as they're constructive. And we look forward to bringing you more episodes as we're starting to wrap this year up. It's already September already, as we're getting closer and closer to that 100th episode. And I'm sure we're going to be thinking of some special ideas for that as well. Again, thanks for joining me tonight, and we'll see you on the next episode of It's About Tech.